point which we left in the yesterday's class. That is, this one, the termination of the pledge. Now, what it says that how the pledge can be terminated. So it can be terminated by a bailment in the pledge. The pledgee impliedly undertakes to return the goods pledged to the pledger upon payment of the debt or the performance of a promise. And upon payment or the performance of the promise, the contract is extinguished and the pledgee is divested of his special property in the goods. So it means that the way bailment gets over, in the same manner, this particular pledge is also, or hypothecation is also going to get over. So there is no major changes as far as the procedure and the way it has to be terminated in that particular aspect. Now when we go to the next point, that is, what are the rights of pledgee. So now in this particular context, we have to rely on certain basic important sections. So that is section 173 and section 174. Now what this section talks, they talks about right to retain the goods pledged. So basically, when pledgee is not paying back the particular amount which he has taken from the pledgee, so there is only kind of one of the option is, whatever the security the pledgee has got from the pledger, that security will be retained and it will not be given back, or the security will not be released. The security will not be released. This is what it really simply says, that right to retain goods pledged. So section 170.
Sir,
No.
sir, isn't that relating to the question last time I was asking, whereby where a pledger, no, a pledgee remains with the goods of a pledger who has failed to pay back, and maybe just gets an outstanding sum and gives it back. Let's say that in
I
case the
think
goods were much more.
your question itself is answering your doubt. What you said, could you repeat me one more time? What you said just right now?
Okay, sir, last time we were asking whether the pledgee can be able to retain the goods, which
He can
and
retain
maybe
the
instead, yes,
he can
yes,
retain the goods, but under which particular circumstances, that we have already discussed. Yes or no? What
okay.
are the
Last time
circumstances?
we had said no, but maybe because of this now section which is talking about the right
No,
of the pledgee, then it's coming out clear.
we have already gone through with these sections.
Okay.
But I think you are not paying attention, since you are paying more attention towards the surroundings rather than the
No,
class.
no, no, sir. No, sir. I was paying
Switch on,
attention. Just
switch
maybe I
on,
missed that point.
switch on your video. I want to see where you are sitting.
Some here.
See, you got my
No,
answer.
no, no, sir. Actually, sir, just today it
Okay,
was
show
just
me who is on the
coincidence,
right.
but
Show me who is on your right side and who is on your left side. Show me.
you see, on my right, nobody's there.
Okay,
See,
on left.
on my left, nobody's here. I'm just
Okay,
alone
and in front.
with a tree.
And in front.
Uh, in front. Okay, let me see how I can do that now. But still, no one is there.
Ah, because you took that much time. The
You see.
person is now moved. You cannot play. You
So no
cannot
one
play.
is there. I'm just here alone.
You cannot play with me. That is what I'm telling you. There is someone with you. I'm damn sure. That's why. Otherwise, how come your concentration is always losing from last 4-5 classes? Yes or no? So switch off.
So
Switch off your video.
so
See. So what I'm telling you. if suppose, see, your question itself is talking about two different scenario, and almost both the scenarios are answering your question. What you said, 50% amount, oh sorry, what the security is much more higher than the particular amount which has been taken by the pledger from the pledgee. Yes, this is what the question. So
Yes,
now
sir.
this, and what you said, he already got some excessive amount. So what we said, if pledgee is going to get some excessive amount beyond the actual amount which has been lended to the pledger, that excessive amount is anyhow pledgee is required to pay back, because it is the duty of the pledgee to pay back. So that in that context we already took the example. What was the example? That some vehicle is costing some 40,000 rupees, and the pledger has taken only 20,000 worth rupees, certain kind of loan or certain kind of thing. So he did not have any kind of other option, so he gave his particular two-wheeler which is worth of 40,000 rupees as a security against this 20,000 rupees, and somehow he failed, pledger failed to pay back this 20,000 rupees. So now what is the option it is having here? The option is very simple, that the pledgee will be selling his two-wheeler, and whatever the amount he is getting, what he will do, he will keep 20,000 rupees with him. Whatever the expenditure that he has incurred for selling this particular two-wheeler, he will also deduct that much amount, and whatever the excessive amount is there, that excessive amount has to be given, he will give back to the pledger. This is as simple as that. There is no question about these things. Isaac, is this clear? I think this is the third time I am giving you the example.
So that's okay, but because there was this part where you said that maybe then we would have to end that contract, and maybe in case I want to retain the, because I said instead of
If
selling
you
it,
want
why
to,
don't I
if you
just
want
get
to
maybe the
retain,
excess amount and
if
give it?
if you
Yes,
want,
and I give it to the pledger.
that is what I'm saying. If you want to retain that particular goods with you, then you have to purchase it from the pledger. You cannot simply keep it with you. Why? Because pledge is having a particular ingredient of the bailment. So can you keep bailment goods with you?
No, sir.
So can you keep the security pledge goods with you? No. Are you getting my point? So whatever options
Yes, sir.
you are having in the bailment, the same options you are going to have in the pledge also. Pledge being pledge also against pledge, or pledge is having against the pledger. Is that clear? Hello, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Okay. So now let's go to the understanding of section 173. Now what it says, that the pawnee may retain the goods pledge not only for the payment of the debt or the performance of the promise, but for the interest of the debt and all necessary expenses incurred by him in respect of the possession or for the preservation of the goods pledge. So what is included in this? It includes the security itself, that is a paramount ingredient. Then if there is any interest which is liable to be paid by the pledger. Third is any expenditure. If there is any expenditure which has been incurred by the pledgee in maintaining this particular security goods, then that also will be included in the payment of the or security of the goods which are pledged with the pledgee. Okay, this is very simple. Now What section 174 says? That the pawnee shall not, in absence of a contract to that effect, see, retain the goods pledged for and any debt or promise other than the debt or promise for which they are pledged. But such contract, in the absence of anything to the contrary, shall be presumed in regard to the subsequent advances made by the pawnee. So it means that, see, you cannot keep, this particular goods for certain other things. So let's take the example. Now, there is a particular 20,000 rupees which has been taken by the pledger from the pledgee, and against that, as a security, he has given his two-wheeler worth of 40,000 rupees. Now, what happens subsequently after 6 months? Now, pledger is again approaching pledgee and now asking for the another 20,000 rupees. And again, now for this 20,000 rupees, he is saying that I already given you a security worth of 40,000 rupees, in terms of my two-wheeler. So now for this second 20,000 rupees which I am taking, I will not give you any other security or extra security, but you consider that my two-wheeler worth of 40,000 rupees is, a security for the first amount, that is 20,000 rupees, and the second amount, that is another 20,000 rupees, which I have taken from you. And against this 40,000 rupees collectively, you have got a security in terms of my two-wheeler, which is worth of equivalent 40,000. Are you getting my point? If this is what it is happening, then and then only it is accepted, but otherwise it is not accepted. See what it says, that the pawnee shall not, in the absence of a contract to that effect, retain the goods pledged for any debt or promise other than the debt or promise for which they are pledged. So now what they has to do? Now they has to again, add one more clause in the existing pledge contract, saying that now second time the same pledger has taken worth of 20,000 rupees from me, and now against that I have already got two-wheeler as a security, whose amount is worth of 40,000 rupees, which is equivalent amount which I have lended to the pledger. Are you getting my point? So this type of changes are now required to be done and made and reflected in the main contract or subsequent contract attached to the main contract. So this is how the things are very clearly mentioned here. So Supreme Court in the Lallan Prasad versus Rahmat Ali and others said that the pledgee cannot maintain a suit for recovery of debt at the same time retain the pledge property. Both the right cannot be exercised, otherwise it is the double jeopardy that is going to happen. So the right to retainer is limited by prescription under section 174 of the act, that the pledgee cannot, in the absence of a contractual stipulation, retain the goods pledged for any debt or promise other than the debt or promise for which they are pledged. But such contract, in the absence of anything to the contrary, shall be presumed in regard to subsequent advance made by the pledgee. And I have already given you one example. Now, in the another important case law, that is, the Bombay High Court has given in the Kawasji Muncherji Banaji versus official assignee of Bombay. Now, in this particular case, it was held by the Bombay High Court that the pledge and the subsequent advances raised a presumption that there is a contract to hold the pledge for such advances, where, however, the latter advance is separately secured, such presumption does not arise. The right of retainer ends on proper tender of payment. So now here what happens? I will give one example. The pledger has taken 20,000 rupees at the first instance, and the same pledger now has taken another 20,000 rupees from the same pledgee. And then against that, he already gave, his two-wheeler worth of 40,000. So now what happens here? If pledger is going to pay back complete 40,000 rupees, he is able to get back his two-wheeler worth of 40,000 rupees. Is that clear? This is what they say. The right to retainer ends on proper tender of payment. So here, two different times, two amounts has been taken by the pledger from the pledgee, and now he is paying full. He is paying full amount. Okay. So the moment he is paying full amount, now the pledgee is bound to relieve him. The pledgee is bound to relieve pledger from this particular sort of pledge contract. Okay, is that clear, guys? Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Clear, sir. Very clear.
So please note down, otherwise you people will be confused, and I do not want that you people are confused. Okay, so now let's go to the next point. Now, the right to recover extraordinary expenditure incurred. Now it is mentioned under section 175. Now, what it says that an additional right on the pledgee, that is a right to receive from the pledger extraordinary expenses incurred by him for the preservation of the goods. For example, where a horse is pledged and it is suffer an injury by accident, the pledgee is entitled to recover the expenses which he incurs on the treatment of the horse. Or why can't you take one simple example? Simply maintaining horse is also required some expenditure because he requires to eat something every day. So that is also expenses you can consider here. Third is right to sell the pledge goods, that is section 176. In case of default on the part of the pledger in the payment of the debt or performance of the promise at the stipulated time, pledgee has been vested with the right of selling the goods. So what are those? So the pawnee has the following two alternative rights. What are those? First one, right to sue. The right of bringing the suit for the amount due to him while retaining the goods pledged as a collateral security on the pawner's default in payment at the stipulated time. Where it has been mentioned? It has been mentioned in the T.S. Kotagi versus Tehsildar Gadak and others. Okay, this is the Karnataka case, and there is another landmark case law, that is Tapanga Light Foundry versus State Bank of India, Khurda, Orissa case. Now, what it says that both the cases says that pawnee is bound to return them, on repayment of the debt. If the debt is paid, he has to return the goods. If the pawnee is not in a position to re-deliver, the goods, he cannot have both the payment of the debt and also the goods, where the value of the pledged property is less than the debt, and in a suit for recovery of the debt by a pledgee, the pledgee denies the pledge or is otherwise not in position to return the pledge goods, he has to give credit for the value of the goods and would be entitled then to recover only the balance. So I said, what question you was asking and the answer which I was giving, it is already mentioned in this particular, first, that is right to sue. So that is already mentioned in the Lallan Prasad versus Rahmat Ali. Now I will request everyone, to please download this particular case law and have your homework on this particular case law, because this case law is very important. And now the second right, that is right to sell. So here, the pawnee may sell the things pledged on giving the pawner reasonable notice of the sale. Notice must be clear and specific in its language and must indicate the intention of the pawnee to dispose of the security. So where it has mentioned in the Prabhat Bank Limited versus Baburam. Now what it says that the object of the notice is to give the pawner an opportunity to redeem, for the right of redemption can be exercised till the moment of sale. So like example I will give you. Now, Isaac already given notice to the Mogya that please, if you do not pay me my particular, credit, I am going to sell this particular, things which you have kept in my possession as a security. Now, and within 15 days from today onwards. Now, what happens? On the 14th day, Mogya rush back to the Isaac and, give him all the particular money which has been taken by the Mogya from Isaac. So now Isaac is bound. Isaac is bound to hand over this particular goods back to the Mogya, and the notice of sale or the procedure of sale will be stand cancelled. Now it will be again cancelled on the very day. Suppose example, Isaac has mentioned on 10 a.m. on the 15th May, I am going to sell. This is what the notice Isaac has given to the Mogya. And if Mogya rushes back to the Isaac on the 10 a.m. on 10 a.m. to the Isaac on the exact 15th May, then also Isaac is bound to give it back. But now suppose Isaac has already started proceedings, then whatever the expenditure the Isaac is going to incur, now that also is Mogya bound to pay it back to the Isaac. So this is how the things will go here. Now everyone please switch on your video. I am going to take your attendance. Why you people are not listening to me? Vivek, Naman, Yash, Yagding, Lisa, Disha, Neha, Naitik, Kibrit, Apur. Why you people are not switching on your video? See again, Vivek, Disha, Naman, Lisa, Apur. If every day there is a problem, Rishi, then you must change your place. You cannot give me again and again same issue. Can I say that every time? Can I say the logic and the excuse you are giving? Rishi, I am asking you.
I will work on it, sir.
That is what it is expected. Change your place if there is a problem in the internet connectivity and if you are not able to get it. Okay. Now, let's start taking attendance. Devansh.
Yes, sir.
Devam. Apur.
Present, sir.
Kishan. Rucha.
Present, sir.
Rishi.
Present,
Nile.
sir.
Okay. Nile.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Akanksha.
Present, sir.
Lisa.
Present, sir.
Naitik.
Present.
Naman.
Present, sir.
Harshil. Someone has to contact Harshil and find out what's the problem, because this guy is, then
Sir, he is in somewhat medical emergency, so he's not really attending it.
then-
For some days.
then tell him to at least pass this message, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Divya,
Present, sir.
Yash,
Present, sir.
Lacey, Lacey
Present,
Sibanda.
sir.
Okay.
Present,
Lisa
sir.
John. Lisa John. David. David. Ambuja. Ambuja.
Present, sir.
Who? Ambuja or David?
Hamza, sir.
Okay, good. Neha.
Present, sir.
Shabbir.
Present, sir.
Yatri.
Sir, she was there, but because of network issues, she left.
Okay, Jitendra.
Present, sir.
P.
Present.
Present,
Karan.
sir.
Okay, Karan. Karan. Yagnesh. Amarjeet. Varda.
Present, sir.
Pinky.
Present, sir.
Ayush.
Present, sir.
Vivek.
Present, sir.
Monica. Disha.
Present, sir.
Vishal.
Present, sir.
Henry.
Present, sir.
Isaac.
Present, sir.
Moses.
I'm present, sir.
Yashraj.
Present, sir.
Okay, Rushi.
Present, sir.
Junaid. Hibri Jasan.
Present.
Mogya.
I'm present, sir.
Yak. Anthony.
Present.
Okay, is anyone left out for attendance? If not, then I'm going to close class. Bye-bye. See you in the next class. Meanwhile, please do that homework. Lallan Prasad versus Rahmat Ali Khan. Put it on Google and go through with the case notes. That is very important case law.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, the spelling.
Lallan, Lallan, Lallan Prasad, 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 Lallan Prasad versus Rahmat, Ramat, Rahmat Ali, Ali. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, chalo, see you, bye.